Hello, I'm Mylea.
I'm Elmika.
And I'm Jamela.
And you're watching
Brides of Christ, living for the true groom, Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to our channel. Today's topic is Celibacy Part 2. I hope that all of you guys tuned into Part 1 where we talked about are you abstinent or are you celibate and knowing the difference.
So today we thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and bring my husband, Tyrone Berry, on the show to kind of give his point of view and attest his testimony on choosing to be celibate. Because I think it's good for guys out there to know that it's possible, and for women to know that it's possible too, that you can meet someone who is on the same page and going down the same path as you are once you give your life to Christ. So today, we have a special guest, which is my husband, Tyrone Berry, and we just thought it would be great to have him on the show, especially, when we're talking about celibacy, because that was something that he chose to do. So it's good for guys to know that it's possible to be celibate, and it's also good for women to know that it's possible for you to meet a man that's celibate and who's going on the same path as you are. So, hey, tell us a little bit what led you to celibacy. How did you come to that decision? What happened?
Okay, well, I can trace it back all the way to before I went to college. I received some advice from some older men in my family, and the advice was basically go out there, do everything that you want to do. And I think we all know what that means, like you go sleep with as many women as you want to, all of that. So I kind of, first I wrestled with it because I wasn't really sexually active like that, but then I eventually gave in to temptation, and so for years, my life was just completely out of whack, out of order, and as time went on, my life really got harder, and so I had to sit back and question, okay, why are things the way they are? And one of the main things that was, that I was doing was in sexual sin, and realized that was displeasing to God, and that in in the prideful state I was in, the Lord was resisting me.
So when you were in this sexual sin, had you already have given your life to Christ? Was you where were you at that time? Because I know some people, they kind of giving their life to Christ and they still struggling with these certain sins, or were you not, living your life for Christ at that time, or what? Where was it? Or maybe you thought you were. I don't know.
Not at that time. I was a Christian. I came to Christ when I was 11 years old. And I always had the vision that I was going to be celibate all the way up until marriage. And just my personal background, I was 16 and basically I was forced to give up my virginity to an older lady. So I believe the devil saw that I was serious about maintaining my virginity and living pleasing to the Lord, and then one day, that was stripped away.
So why did you choose to win, and why did you choose to become celibate after all of that?
I remember in 2013, I was really trying to look for a job. I was submitting hundreds of resume applications, resume submissions a week. I was doing online applications. I was doing all these interviews. People telling me they love me, they're gonna call me back. I'm passing the background test, the drug test, and nothing was shaking. And I was what is it? And it always came back to you living a life outside of God's will. You're not living the life that God has called you to live, because the Lord had been calling me for years, and I just ran. I just went the opposite way. I didn't want what He had for me. I felt like that was too burdensome, so.
Yeah. You were scared?
I was scared. You
were scared to live your life for Christ?
I certainly was.
Why?
The fear of failure, man, I don't want to be I don't want to be the hypocrites, or, I don't want to. So
Living up to that high standard.
Yes, because people will put you on the pedestal, and once you fall, you know.
Yeah.
The devil try to keep you down there.
So how long were you celibate?
I was celibate for 22 months. So nearly 2 years.
Okay.
Man, just say 2 years now. I gotta mess with him, y'all. I gotta mess. Just round it off to 2 years.
So how was it like your?
Oh my God.
You know, because I'm curious. 'Cause I mean, you know, women. It's like it seems like we always feel like it's easier for a woman to be celibate than a man. You know, so when you hear that a man is celibate, it's almost like, wow.
Yeah, it is.
So like, how was it like going through this journey?
It was tough. It was tough. I remember when I first decided to just really pursue the Lord back in 2011. I remember one day I was on the couch and like I literally like my flesh was literally burning, and like I was actually in my word at the time. You know, trying to get scriptures on lust, on, you know, on fornication and all of that. And I remember my phone was just going off back to back. Like usually, you know, I get a few hits, you know, out of the day, but it's like all these different people kept texting me, and I was like, okay, I need to call somebody right now. I need to get some strength. And so I called a friend in Mississippi. I was like, hey, you need to pray for me right now. and it was hard. Like I had to do things. I had to give my brothers my passwords to my social media accounts, to my emails.
Wow.
So was that your way of being like accountable to somebody?
Yes, definitely.
So you had accountability partner.
There's no way I could have done that with by myself.
Yeah.
Not only that, I had to cut out music I was listening to. I love like 90s R&B, but I just realized, okay, you got it. R&B gotta go.
Yeah.
And why you? I think it's good for you to explain why you had to let that music go. Why?
I mean, when you hear, a song like R. Kelly, Seems Like You Ready, that
It gets you ready.
It can only trigger one thing.
That's
so
right.
That's right. We're not ready, R. Kelly.
It's a connection. It's a spiritual connection to music, and whether you want to believe it or not, it's real.
Right.
You know, even if you're going through a heartbreak and then you listen to heartbreak music, you, like I said before, everybody wants to have something they can relate to. So that's why you have to cut out that kind of stuff when you're going through these things, because it's only going to pull you back. And we're trying to go forward. We're not trying to go backwards. It's just ridiculous to go backwards.
So, Tyrone, what advice do you have for men that are possibly interested in being celibate or could possibly be being called to be celibate now and don't know the difference on if they're being called or if it's just them, or which they're probably thinking, oh, that's crazy for it to be me, but the Lord could be calling them to be celibate. So what clues do you have for them to know that they're being called, and then also what advice do you have for them to be celibate or
Yeah, that's good.
Cues for men to know that they're being called is it's feeling unfulfilled, and you know that it's not your job, it's not money, it's not your status. It's something that you really can't pinpoint, that you can't put your finger on, but you know it's there. Another cue is that you feel the need to pull away from certain people. Come to a time where you want to start pulling away from people that you've been close to for years, people that you consider to be brothers. Because that definitely helping with me, with my brothers, with my friends. And the Lord starts pulling you and drawing you, away from the world and worldly things and worldly people.
How did you deal with your friends, though? How did you explain that to them when you were, you had your worldly friends and you were transitioning out of the world? How did you explain that to them? Because for us, it's like, me, I can tell you I'm celibate. I don't care what you say about me. I could care less. I never have. But
because it got to be different from men.
Yeah,
right?
how's being a man? Like, man, you're supposed to be doing this. It's a man thing. You're supposed to be chasing and hunting.
Yeah, that's what y'all do.
So what did How did you deal with your friends, or what did you tell them, and what was their response? Did you have any experiences where someone was like, "What are you doing? What?" Did they, make fun of you, or?
Definitely, of course, people gonna make. The men are gonna make fun of you. The women are gonna question if you're gay. Like it's just going with the territory.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah,
Gotta do the right thing.
Yeah. And then like when you tell men that, men feel like that you have other outlets, other sexual outlets versus rather than sex, they think that you have porn and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, like it's cold turkey, like nothing at all. And so yeah, the men, you can tell some of them felt like intimidated because of the life that they were living. But not many people were receptive. Like they didn't really.
And they saw you had a strong will too to do that,
Yes,
and the Lord was really walking with you.
Yeah.
And I hope you told them that those are still sexual sins. The masturbating, the pornography, all of that is still sexual sins, and it's still forbidden.
Yeah.
That's right, because sex is sex. That's just, rather if it's with somebody or by yourself,
Right.
it's still sex. It's still sinning against your own body.
Yeah.
Because your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So then that means whatever sin against your body is still sin. So it doesn't matter. And even I remember when I decided that I was going to be celibate, I mean, guys who were trying to talk to me, or of course they trying to holler at me or whatever, I would say it right off the bat. Even if I thought that maybe we were going to have any type of conversations, I went ahead and told you that I was celibate because, one, I wanted you to go ahead and run away real fast because I really didn't have time to be talking to someone that wasn't my husband in the first place. So I felt like that was the best thing to do, the best way to get rid of somebody. Sir, I'm celibate until marriage, because then some guys be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm celibate too, I ain't had sex in 2 days, and so then it's like, no, I'm celibate until marriage. And so you have to be clear, because a guy who is just trying to talk to you because he think you look good, you telling him that you're celibate, that's gonna just go through one ear and out the other. You have to stand firm on that commitment and that decision, and you have to be bold about it. Just like Malia said, she'll tell people she's celibate, and it really doesn't matter how you feel. That's how you have to be. Don't be shamed about your celibacy. Even women too, do not be shamed about your celibacy. That is a jewel to the Lord, and so for you to do that and for you to stand up for righteousness like that until a guy is worthy enough to have you, and you'll know if he's worthy enough because y'all gonna be walking down that aisle and he gonna wait.
That's right.
He gonna wait. And I tell my friends all the time, when a guy is serious when you don't have sex with him. See, when you have sex with him, you don't really know if he truly loves you. Me and Tyrone was just talking about this the other day. How do you really know that you love somebody if you've already engaged in sex with them? How do you know? Like, sit there and really ask yourself that question, because you really don't know. Because your answers are probably going to be based off your emotions because you have already laid down with that person. So, of course, we've been together for so long. Oh, because I know it because I just can't live without him. But are you saying those things after sex? Because we can say a lot. Men have said a lot after sex, right? Can you agree? You done love 17,000 women after sex. I mean, what? That means, it means nothing.
It's true.
Like, seriously.
Very true.
So you have to the only way to take the emotion out of a relationship is to not have sex. Then you will not be making decisions based off your emotions, because that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And that could lead you with somebody that you had no business being with whatsoever. Can you talk about, do you want to talk about some relationships that that maybe that you had and you knew it was based off of that, or maybe you didn't know? I don't know.
Yes, there have been quite a few relationships. Oh, that sounded bad. Anyway.
Okay, husband, we're married now. The old has passed away.
So all things are made new
In Christ.
That's right.
yes, there have been relationships, and like one of the things that I could take the most from those relationships is that I wasn't thinking soberly at all. Like the way I process things, you know, it was just all off, and not just from oh, I want to be with you, but I don't really want to be with you. It's just a sex talk, and it was everything from choices I was making career-wise.
Wow.
I remember there were times I would just up and leave a job because I was like, hey, I'm gonna go find something else, and I was doing things that just weren't sound, you know, of a sound mind, and yeah.
Did you have an end goal? Like, you know, when you knew, okay, you know, you're going through the process of being celibate, did you have like an end goal, like, okay, I'm gonna be celibate, so I can reach this goal? Like, did you have that?
Yes, my end goal was I'm gonna be celibate. I'm gonna break all of these soul ties, and then my children are gonna have to deal with what I've been through, because I realized that I was living out the cycles of the men on my father's side of the family, and I was like, in order for me to go back and win them over to Christ, I have to win over this. I have to, you know, achieve victory over this through the Lord. And so that was my end goal.
That's good.
Really good.
That's good. I don't think I ever heard that one before.
Gotta ask the right question. So we're just glad you were on the show just to give another, like, the view coming from a man, you know. They can hear from us and it's great, but to have a man that has actually lived it and was celibate for 2 years and now is married with just beautiful children is definitely a testimony in itself. So.
Thank you.
This is great.
Thank you for coming on, Tyrone.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Indeed.
Appreciate the invite.
I'm pretty sure we'll have you back
We'll have you back.
for some other episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just want to thank everybody for. Oh, did you have anything else before we close out?
Oh, I wanted to say, don't buy into a man's gonna be a man. No.
Oh, that's
That-
good. Oh,
I
you
hate
said that.
I hate that statement with a passion that a man is gonna be a man.
Elaborate on that for the people. Elaborate on that for the people.
Yes.
So the reason I hate the statement a man is gonna be a man is, for one, I feel like that most women, you know, they want a guy that's gonna be, you know, that's gonna commit to them, that's gonna eventually marry them, be faithful, and you know, to say that a man is gonna be a man is almost like saying, okay, that women expect a man to cheat, to be uncommitted, you know, to go out and do his dirt, you know, lead you on, all this, and, you know, never put a ring on it. So that's why I hate, like, the saying that a man is going to be a man. Like, no, a man who is in Christ, you know, a man who has the spirit of Christ is going to have new passions. His heart is going to be open to God, you know, to God's word. You know, he's going to be open to God's will. And, yeah. Hate that statement with that.
So basically, don't settle for that.
Yeah.
Don't settle for that. Because when you're new in Christ, that means your mind have to be renewed. So you can't think like how you used to think, because the Lord had to strip me from that in my tear-off season. He had to strip me from my old way of thinking. Because just like he said, a man is going to be a man. Oh, I've said that several times, you know.
I think
So
we probably all have said that.
Absolutely.
And then we end up taking things from them based on that statement. You know,
because a man is going to be a man. So then we stay in relationships where they cheat. We stay in relationships where we feel like we're obligated to have sex. We stay in these relationships for all these other reasons, because based on this, a man is going to be a man kind of thing. So that was good that you said that.
Right.
That was good.
really
Jesus
good.
moved out 33 years.
Woo, that brother
33
was.
and a half.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Manhood.
It's good to be a part of the Jesus crew. Speaking
That's
of
right.
the Jesus crew, Malia, introduce your website.
Yes, please.
If you're looking for wonderful Christian apparel, you can find it at thejesuscrew.net or also thejesuscrew.biz. We're also on Instagram at putmeinjesuscrew.
thanks for watching, everyone. We really appreciate it. And please tune in to our next episode where we talk about how to break soul ties. Because Tyrone mentioned soul ties when he was talking about his testimony, and I think we really need to get into that next part of getting out these horrible, bad, ungodly, should have never happened relationships. So tune in next time, guys. We love you. Bye.